Today you are volunteering as president of a high school.
Yeah.
How did that come about, and what has that experience been like?
Thank you, Bishop Johnston. I've been involved in Catholic education. I really think it's a gift. Our Catholic schools, it brings in, of course, that faith dimension into our education, that we want to see things through the eyes of God and walk with God through it. I think it's so important for young people to realize that today, how important that is. You have a companion, and he's such a wonderful companion. He can coach you up on a lot of different ways. So I've always been on boards of Catholic schools, and I was on the board of this Catholic school. And I'm on a vacation with grandkids and my wife in Colorado, and I get this call, I think on a Friday, and he says, our current president is going to step down. He's retiring. He's a priest, and I'd love for you to consider it. And I said, okay, well, I need to talk to my wife. And he said, good, I'll call you on Monday. So that next Monday he calls, and we worked through it through the weekend. And it's been a blessing. I'm not involved in the academics as such, right? That's the academic side of the world. I mean, I want to be part of the vision for Catholic education. We need to be, strong and true. Some people use the word about this particular school, St. Michael the Archangel Catholic High School, that it's authentically Catholic. That's fine. But we're encountering the world in school.
Yeah.
We're encountering students who have all sorts of different views and ideas, and young people who are just trying to figure out who they are in this kind of mad dash culture. Even it's interesting, there's no cell phones that are allowed. Obviously, they're in the classroom, but you can't take it out. But even if you go between classes, they whip out those cell phones and they're looking at them. And, you're realizing there's so many distractions for these young people. So it's great to be a part of an atmosphere where we can talk about God, live the gospel. We have 4 Dominican sisters there from Ann Arbor. So these are bona fide teachers, young ladies who've taken these lifelong commitments. This year we have a full-time chaplain, Catholic priest, just ordained. He's one of 6 children. A beautiful young man is a priest. He's tall, very athletic, but that has really helped the atmosphere of the school. And these are things that the bishop and I have spoken about. Like, what do we need to do? We need to have people in these vocations that are relatable to these young people. And as a result, we've had 1 or 2 young men go to the seminary, or the first steps that would be, and then several young ladies are discerning into various, whether they be nuns or sisters. And that's kind of exciting to see. But it's also kind of exciting to see people come and join the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go through RCIA or whatever that would be. It would be the equivalent for a 15 or 16-year-old to go do. I don't think it would be RCIA, School of Religion or something. But to see that, and to see people even from other faiths get touched by the Catholic faith or join with us.
Yeah.
I'm very fond of saying this. There's I'm not going to call it a competitor school, but it's a Summit Christian Academy near St. Michael's. And I know the president, and we're on the same team. We want to create opportunities for people to flourish in the world, to belong, to have a sense of belonging, but to do it with their faith, to have that discipleship, that courage to do that in this kind of crazy world on certain days, for sure.
Your experience as, being president of this high school, what do you think the biggest challenges facing young people are today?
Distraction. Just a constant stream of distraction. I've done a little speaking. Another word I would use is contradictions. I can be this simple. Here are the 10 Commandments, here are the Beatitudes, and then look out into our culture and see people living contradictory lives to just those basic things, right? Or things that we, sadly sometimes like, wow, that's not cool. What's going on there? Or to use a phrase I've heard today, that's really not a holy moment. And they don't know. It could be their peers or even adults. And so there's so many mixed messages, contradictions. And I think one of the spiritualities I love the most is Opus Dei. And one of the things they talk a lot about is how are you going to deal with the contradictions that you're presented to in life? How do you deal with it? Do you join in? Do you placate? What do you do? And how do you respond to that? And our witness and example of that are the saints and, of course, the life of our Lord. How did Jesus respond to? I mean, he was walking around seeing all kinds of contradictions and ministering constantly and healing.
When you're interacting with the students, what do they talk about? What sort of questions do they ask? What is that experience like?
Well, I mean, the other day was a dress down day and a young man was walking around in a Buffalo Bills uniform. Nicholas is his name. And he's giving me and I said, October 16th, baby. He's from Western New York. Guess where he grew up. So they're going to be Buffalo Bills fans. The reaction is really with young people. I think it's more just taking the time. In my case, as president, maybe once or twice a week, just go sit when they're having lunch and maybe join them. Sometimes you can't join them because they're packed in, but just interact with them, whether it's in the lunch line or something like that. I know coming up, I'm going to try to convince Father Paul that I can do a reflection on prayer. What is prayer? We have adoration once a week on Fridays, and I'd love to go in and just talk about my own personal experience, because when I go into adoration at the school, I see kids like they just don't know what exactly is going on. Yeah. I mean, certainly a few do, but they seem just bored. And there's 4 steps that we talk about in prayer that I use. It was Canta la Mesa. I assume he's Father Canta la Mesa, preached to the Benedict. The 4 steps of prayer being breathing, thinking, struggle, and encounter. And I would love to just sit there and talk them through that. Like, you have to breathe to live. You also have to pray to live. The second thing would be, you're going to start thinking. We're thinking, living human beings. You have things going through your head. The next assignment, class, what's going on at home, my peer group, my sports team. And then the next thing is struggle. Like, I just as soon just get up and get out of here. I don't want to sit with my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I think that's true for all of us in prayer, is that there's that point of struggle of, I'm wasting time, I'm bored. Well, wasting time in prayer is actually a good thing. And then hopefully there's an encounter.
Yeah.
So beautiful things like that. So my hope is to be able to present that to them and just talk them through it. Like, just focus on your breathing. What are you thinking about? What's going through your mind? What's troubling you? And then there's a struggle. And I think that young people need to know about that battle. We all battle that. And I think that's fair to say. In fact, to admit that you're not battling something, that's not true.
Right.
You're fibbing.
Yeah.
So.